So let's take a look at movable pieces. Now, if you are thinking about more of an elementary type of lesson, or you wanted to sort pictures or things like that, then that process is a little bit different. In order to do that, you would use this little landscape picture option. Again, if it's not showing, zoom out to 80 or 90%, click on it, and then you can load any files that you have. So for instance, if I wanted them to be able to use this arrow to point to something, then I could move those pieces. If I wanted to put in pictures of things that would fall under the hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, atmosphere, and so on, you get the idea, I could do that. And I would just have to load them as picture files and then pull them onto the board, pull them up from my files. Now, it's sort of a pain, but that's the way it works in Newrow right now. They don't let us copy and paste. Hopefully, at some point, we'll be able to copy and paste, and doing it the picture way will be a lot easier. The alternative is you can do the same activity and instead do it with text. So instead of putting a picture of a dolphin, I could do a dolphin swimming as my text. I can resize it so that it fits pretty well in the boxes and things like that. I can do another text box, and maybe my example now is I'm going to go more general. So in which sphere does weather happen? You get the idea. I could put a lot of different things on here and then just change the words. Instead, I can just put extra boxes, and maybe I want it to be something like this. Now, when I have a student, let me see if I have a student that can come in. Quick reminder too, if you do want to invite a guest or you need a participant code for someone to come in, maybe from admin or a counselor or something like that, or from the crisis team, you just go back to your Class Connect sessions where it says view URL and copy and paste that link. That's how you would get the link for a guest participant. If you have a student come in to the room, they will go to the waiting room if your room is locked, and then they can enter their name. And once they enter the session, you will see it pop up that they're trying to enter the session. Allow what does this button do to join? I can click yes, and now what does this button do will be asked to activate their camera and their audio. So once they come in, you can see they're in here now. I now have choices that I can set them as moderator, set as captioner. I can also click more condition or more permissions, and I can allow them to draw on the whiteboard, write notes, share their screen, all that good stuff. I can change the chat permissions just for the student individually or remove them from the room. Now that I have a student in the room, you can see that the student would then be able to move the pieces because they have their whiteboard tools. So they could go ahead and drag the pieces around. I could ask them to put the piece in the correct category and ask them to sort by category. I could have them do one and then have another student do another one, and so on. And that's how I would change their individual permissions. So I could change what does this button do's permissions to allow whiteboard access. I could disable whiteboard for everyone and turn on one at a time, or I could turn it on for everyone and then just call on a student to sort those. So that is one way around the movable pieces. If you don't want to have to upload each of those as a separate file, you can do the same thing with text and then allow them to move the text around and sort and do an activity like that without having to do the whole movable piece type of thing.